welcome to the channel. We've got a Selmer Treble Bass 50 SV, this one. You've seen me do one of these on the channel before. We've actually had a look at two. Well, one we just skirted across and the other one we did a full restore. We're going to bring this back to life, hopefully. You see the aluminium front panel's a little bit tarnished. I don't know actually what's caused that, but you get that with aluminium sometimes, so we'll have to have a look, see if we can do anything with that. It's just a simple, pretty basic amplifier, this, for anyone who hasn't watched the previous videos. So we've just got volume, bass and treble, which is on the bass channel. We've got a send and return, which is actually marked as echo, but it's the same thing, send and return. We've got presence, a bit stiff, but we can sort that out. Volume, bass and treble, and this is the normal channel, so this would be the guitar channel. We've got a couple of inputs for each channel there, very simple. Volume on off switch and standby there. Let's have a look at the back. So there we go, I've just tilted it slightly with a roll of electrical tape, and that's about all it's useful for. So we've got a fuse, mains fuse holder there, HT fuse, got a ground lug, that seems to be on all of them, and then we've just got two tap-ins on the output transformer. You probably can't see that, 7.5 and 15 ohms. The covering is different on this particular model, and we've got a leather handle. I don't remember the other ones having a leather handle, and they have got a different covering, so I don't know if this is an earlier or later model. So this amp, as I say, it doesn't work. So I think the first thing we want to look at is the fuses, really, just to see if they're blue. Oh, and that one's loose. Is that a telltale sign? Let's have a look. That doesn't look blown. I'll have to get the magnifying glass to read it. I'm afraid my eyes don't read fuses anymore. It's just I'm just going to sit him in there a minute. Let's have a look at the mains fuse. That's also loose. That's okay. You can see them much clearer when I actually look through the camera at them, but I still can't. I don't think I can still read what it says on them. That's 3 amp. I can read that. I think that's 3 amp. So is that correct? Not for 240 volts. It's not, is it? It is for 115 volts. So that could be, I think, I'll check that with a magnifying glass to make sure, but that could be the wrong fuse there. So we need to check those before we power this amplifier up. We're going to power it up on the Variac and just see what we have. Right, I've got it out of the cabinet because we need to, really, before we test it. We need to have a meter on it while we're running it up on the Variac. Those fuses, the mains fuse was 3.15 and the HT fuse is correct. Snip those up. I forgot to say as well, the knobs on the front, the chicken knobs, aren't original. So if you want to see the original knobs, if you go onto my channel and look for the Selmer head restore, you'll see the original, what the original knobs look like. So let's have a look at what we have here. So we've got some original capacitors, and these are 32 microfarad, and the others I believe are 50s. Choke, output transformer, output tubes. These are EL84s. I can't remember the American number for those, but there you can see those, and those are mullards. It's extremely heavy as well, this amplifier. So what we'll do now is we'll tip it over and we'll have a look at the gubbings. Right, so we're just having a look inside. This amp is all original. At this moment in time, I don't see anything on this amp that's been changed. Caps are all original. Someone here has been lodging inside it, but he has since turned toes and he's left most of his house in here, so we shall have to sweep that out. There's another, I think that's his companion under there by the look of it, and he's also turned toes. So the capacitors, oh yes, so one of the, and you can probably see that, you can see that on the camera there, so you can see the gumption coming out of that one. So I think we can safely say that that's all over. Just looking at that one there, is that a cobweb? Yeah, it is a cobweb. Yep. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire this up on the Variac. I'm going to keep a close eye on the amp meter, and I'm just going to put enough voltage in this just to see if we've got any conductance in the tubes, or if it, I don't even know if it even comes on, to be honest. Does it light up and no one's at home, or does it not even light up? Let's find out. Right, so I've got this all fired up and ready to rock and roll on the Variac. So let's I'm just going to put another light on. That's it. Let's start putting some power in and see what we've got. And you can, I've got the meter right in front of the camera obviously there, so you can see I've got another meter off. Well, you can just see that one there on the right here. That's monitoring the bias. So I do like to monitor the bias when I'm running these fixed bias amps up, because if there's no bias on it, it'll fry the tubes. So we're just looking at what we've got now. 50 volts we've got there, and 123 on the Variac. So I've got 60 volts on the Variac and 123 volts on the HT. 100 milliamps on the current meter, so that's fine. So we're up to 75 volts on the Variac, and you can see we've got 152 standby lights beginning to glow. Let's go up to 100 volts. Yeah, 199. So I've got 200 volts there now, just appearing on the HT. So I've got 130 volts. Let's turn up all the volume controls, and you can now see the mains LED is lit. And I do believe we've got sound. We have indeed. Yep, we have sound. So, just turn that volume down before we plug this in. Yep. And just try the other channel. Yep, so we've got sound, so it runs okay. I mean, it needs, obviously it needs recapping, so it needs one or two other things by the sound of it, but that's no problem. That's just all part of a good service. Yes, the bias looks good on it as well. Just looking at some of these capacitors. We've got 100 volts on that side and nothing on that side, so that capacitor's not leaking. Just going to move this meter. What we've got on this one, $115 volts. That's not leaking. 120 volts. It's not leaking. Actually, someone might have been in here before, because there's some very unfactory-like soldering there. And actually saw some more on that valve seat. That'll have to be done. There's some, looks like some bird poo soldering on that screen resistor. Try that one. 5 volts on that. Nothing on there, that's okay. 183. Ah, that's gone off now. You've got some kind of dry joint there. There. I'm not sure what's going on there. That 182 volts on that one, and I might have a bit of leakage on that one. Not sure, have we? No, that one looks okay, I think. That one, those two have 145. But they've got the bias on there, so they're a bit of the output tubes. So those will have to be taken out of circuit to be tested. Got that, yeah, because that's the phase inverter. That's the cap that goes across. We'll change that because that'll have had a bit of hammer. Well, these all look good, all of them. They don't look. So I think we might. I mean, obviously I've not got this amp on full power. I've only got it at 132 volts on the Variac, so they may show up as leaking when they get more voltage on them, but at the moment they look pretty good. So let's just summarize. Let's just try and hone in and see if we can see the condition of some of these capacitors that we've got in there. So we can see this one here. It's very cruddy, which is why I'm not putting any more voltage on it than I've got now. I only need to put enough voltage on to get it to run. There is some kind of intermittent fault going on, which needs to be addressed, but we can sort that out. That's no problem. So we need to change these capacitors. These main electrolytics, there's two more over there, those 32 microfarads. They need to be changed. We'll have some new diodes on, because I do that as a matter of course. Although those diodes are running okay, they're over 50 years old, or about 50 years old. It seems silly to leave those in for what they cost, and we'll just put brand new ones in. Bias capacitor will need to be replaced. That's the smoothing for the bias, and might even have to be upped a little bit. And we need to there's a bit of work to tidy up on these sockets here. You can see, which is that one. You probably can't see, there's some very iffy soldering there, and the wire's been burnt slightly, but that's nothing. Again, trivial things. And then of course there's the electrolytics. If we just draw it back, we can see those. These capacitors here are the cathode bypass capacitors for the preamp tubes, and there's 3 of those. Can't remember what value they are now. I ought to know really. I've worked on these amps extensively, but I work on that many now, I quickly forget. And then we need to just check the resistors to make sure they're all in tolerance. All of these dropping resistors, such as these ones we've got here, these will all be replaced, and they'll probably be out of tolerance. In actual fact, they are not dropping resistors, they are balancing resistors going across the capacitors there, because of this, they're wired in series. That's a dropping resistor, so that'll be changed. That 27k. And then we've got dropping resistors on these capacitors, these 32s, all kind of a bit messy how they've done that. So we'll change those for metal oxide. As I said, we'll change those diodes, and I think that'll make that a really good amp. These are really good amps. They are exceptional amps, and they sound beautiful once you've got them running correctly. And we'll do the bias, check the tubes, usual things, and I think this amp will be a winner. And I'll have a look at this aluminium plate and see if we can find something that will clean this up a bit. Pretty simple video really, just pretty straightforward. There is a slight fault on this amplifier, there's nothing major, and again we know it's the fact that both channels have gone quiet. Just lost some gain somewhere. It could be a preamp tube, could just be the pins dirty in the tube socket, but it's nothing major. That it'll probably just right itself when we've cleaned all the tubes and recapped it and tidied up any soldering that needs doing. So I think that'll do it for this one. So thanks for watching. You all take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye bye for now.